Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Welcome into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate you guys all tuning in. Listen, it is Victory Tuesday. Yes, Victory Tuesday. I know there's a lot of things that happened the last few hours, but we're still going to enjoy this Victory Tuesday. It is Halloween as well. I've got Waterboy. I don't even know who's sitting next to me right now. It's not Matt Broder.
Who the fuck is this
Never
guy?
seen that show at all. We have Halloween going on. Broder, real quick.
Yeah.
I just want to throw this out there. There's been negative vibes going around Twitter, around shows before. There's negative things going on. The Detroit Lions are 6-2. They're heading into the bye, into the second half of the season. Trade deadline stuff, Broder, boom. We get it. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, we are.
We're going to break it down, and we're going to cut some things up here and go in a little bit on it. We have to. But at the end of the day, your Detroit Lions are 6-2. They have like a top 5 offense right now. They have one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. They just beat the Las Vegas Raiders, and they're still number 2 in the NFC. And they're still top 5 in the NFL right now, and they're still leading the NFC North. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about some positive things and some negative things, boys. I'm excited to talk about it. We've got Broder.
Ted Lasso. Freaking learn the name.
I'm sorry. Whoa.
Learn your co-host name.
Whoa, Ted Lasso. I apologize.
Thank you.
Ted, how are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, I would like you to call me Bobby Boucher. I don't know how to do the...
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Water sucks. No, I won't do that. We've got Jaylen in the TD booth, though, as always. He's back from Thursday. We had Lucas Class Friday. Jaylen's back, though. What up, Jaylen?
What up, though, man? How you doing?
Good. You were at the game.
I was at the game, yeah.
How was it?
10 out of 10. It
Let's
was
go.
It was the loudest game I've ever been to, so it was nice, man, for sure.
That Monday Night Football feeling. JB. We got JB.
Yeah, guys.
Actually, we have
It's someone
Connor
else.
Stallions in the booth.
Wait, oh, what? Huh?
Ah!
What? What's going on? Wait, what?
Oh, nothing.
Sorry, Coach Stallions.
What? Nothing's going on here. I don't know what's happening.
Did you get us any sides from the other shows? Any signs for us to steal?
I got a couple of them. You know.
All right.
Just...
We'll talk about that off air.
No one's stealing my signs at AFC Richmond.
Do soccer teams even have signs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
Oh,
Shout out
substitution
DCFC,
out.
man.
Yep. We're gonna have a fun show. Despite the game, there's just a lot to talk about. Yeah, there's sports all over the place yesterday.
Oh.
We're not gonna be talking about soccer or football as they call it in England.
No, but we have a packed show. I'm excited that we have the end of the day here for a day like today, a Victory Tuesday. The trade deadline just kind of happened here. I'm pumped to be able to be like, hey, we could break all this down.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's do that real quick. I'll go over the rundown here of the show.
Please.
So you guys have an idea of what we're talking about at what time. 8:15, we're breaking down the game. We'll get to the trade deadline stuff in a little bit. Lions beat the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll talk about that at 8:15. 8:30, we're going to talk about this defense and what they did last night. Have to talk about that, Broder. Right after we talk about that defense, we already know that everyone wanted pieces added to it. 8:45, NFL trade deadline. We're going to get into it. That might end up being 2 segments. I was thinking about that. We only had it for 1. That's going to probably end up being 2. After that, we're going to talk about, is this team, can they go all the way? Can they still contend without making a move at the trade deadline? We're doing that at 9 o'clock. 9:15, we're talking about the rookies, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta. Those guys on the offensive side put up numbers in prime time. Brian Branch on the other side had a big game. So we're breaking that down. 9:30, we're going over our NFL power rankings, breaking that down as well. 9:40, same thing, and then we're going to do some mailbag. Broder, you were at the game though as well today, so let's get into that real quick.
Oh yeah, and I was there today.
Did you get to see any of the Lions dressing up in their costumes?
Yeah, on the way out. I didn't get to see this stuff on the way in, but I saw some put their costumes back on, like Graham Glasgow, and I know we're going to show this one.
Yes.
I think his was my favorite, although I love Tracy's. I'll let you introduce it, but I saw the glimpse at the end and a couple pictures that have been floating around.
We'll
Hey, believe.
do that. Let's show some of the pictures first, and then we do have the video of Aiden Hutchinson and his.
Oh, come on.
Let's throw Graham Glasgow up there. This one was, he did a good job.
Oh,
How about that?
Oh,
The Avenged Sevenfold shirt on too.
JB, you got something to say to this picture?
Where are you?
Where are you? It was funny. So JB said that to me in the back before the show. Like he just started singing that. I was like, did some video spiral out? He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. As Graham Glasgow was walking out of the locker room, Penei Sewell was just trailing behind him, just in his ear, singing that song to him.
No
I was
way.
like, yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
And there's just these two huge men, just singing the.
Did
Was it Blink
Penei dress
182?
up at all? Did he have anything going?
Penei,
Yeah.
not after. Did he? I don't know if he dressed on the way in. I don't know. Halloween, baby.
What else do we have here? We have a couple
Trick or
other guys. Benito Jones, I believe.
Is this a Halloween costume or is this
Just normal.
normal fit on the farm? And I say farm with respect. That's what he does at home. He's a farmer.
He has like 26 cows. He has horses.
Got any pigs?
I think he might have some
I think
pigs.
so.
I like
That's
pigs.
a
He has like
normal
100
outfit.
cows.
That might be how he walks around the house. To be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
He
I
walks
mean,
around with that.
I'd almost say the overalls from weeks past have been more costumes.
What else do we have here? We
Tracy?
have Tracy Walker. This one was great.
I like this.
This was a good one. Here's Tracy Walker.
Ooh, Rick James.
I like
It's
that.
not Rick James, but it's a pimp.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
got a name though. Is it Slink?
Slick back.
Slickback.
Slickback,
yes.
Pimp named Slickback.
Yep.
Slickback. And
Yeah.
he had the hair flow. Tracy had the hair flowing out of the out of his helmet. It wasn't braided up. He just had it. He had it flowing. Man,
I like that one.
Tracy's
That might
a
be my
stud.
favorite. And then this last one here, we got Aiden Hutchinson.
I would say, what do we do guys with the video, man?
The video,
I
yeah.
gotcha.
Shark Boy.
You gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah, that was definitely planned because Taylor Lautner was there.
So I didn't. Shark Boy is a movie.
And Shark Boy, Lava
Boy
Girl.
and Lava
We gotta
Girl.
educate you, Broder,
Yeah.
real quick.
You do.
It's like a Disney movie growing
I
up.
got you real quick.
Yeah,
So
let's
it's
see.
a Shark Boy and Lava Girl, right? You know, dream. Boy dreams away. He ends up meeting them. You know, woo, has a villain in the movie. George Lopez can, you know,
Oh,
shock the
George.
world and stuff like that. Ooh. Then, you know, the ends. He wakes up, no tornado. Happy. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I got.
It was a terrible movie.
Shark
don't,
Boy and Lava.
Don't let him fool.
It
That movie
was-
was terrible.
Believe.
Believe.
Dream.
That's what Ted Lasso says, by the way, a lot. Believe. So
Oh.
get used to it.
I like that. All right.
Yep.
We can deal with that. That's all the Halloween costumes. I think that was it. I kind of looked and I was looking for some more. Didn't see that many more, but those were good ones.
Yeah, there were
They
some cool
killed
ones
it.
in the stands. I don't remember all of them, but saw some clips of Anzalone. A bunch of guys dressed up as Anzalones, so they had the long blonde locks. I don't know. It was
was a
just
good one.
It was a wild scene. Everyone at Ford Field. It was loud, but everyone was in a good mood. Like they obviously wanted to see the Lions win, and they did. But it just was like there was so much energy in there.
Dude, Monday,
it was fun.
The thing is, it's like Monday Night Football is the biggest stage, I think, in the NFL during the regular season. Everyone in the country, like everyone is tuning into Monday Night Football. And whether you like football or not, like that's like the biggest thing to watch on Monday night. So you have that at Ford Field in Detroit. They kept showing the city here when we were doing the stream.
Yeah.
Every single commercial, they were just showing the city of Detroit. Looked beautiful every time it popped up. It was just I think it was a great night for the city of Detroit. And on top of that, the Detroit Lions came away with the win. And on top of that,
Dub.
a dub, but halftime, you were there, Lomas Brown. I wanted to bring that up. I
Bring
put
it
that
up.
in here. Lomas Brown got inducted into the Detroit Lions Ring of Honor as well, and you were there to experience that. I listened to him a little bit after the game, and they were talking to him about it, and it seems like it's a very well-deserved thing. Lomas is like one of the most loved people, and there it is at the halftime thing that Broder got a picture of.
Oh, yeah.
There, but he's like one of the most beloved
great
Lions,
picture.
I feel like,
Thank
right
you.
now, and so it was just
He
a
is.
great experience, I'm sure, if you were there.
He is, and although I was too young to like really watch him play, a lot like the what I took away from all that, there were so many old Lions there, just people supporting him that said this dude deserved to be in it like long before this day. So it's good to see Lomas Brown finally get his shot, finally get into the pride of the Lions. He is arguably like the nicest man in the world. So to do that with his accomplishments tied to the Detroit Lions, it's like 7 straight Pro Bowls, a ton of accomplishments. He
Yeah.
did win a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe they beat the Raiders. So Lomas Brown, pride of the Lions, baby.
That is awesome. I thought that-
Congratulations.
Yeah, I thought that was sweet. Kind of listening to him after the game talk about it was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Another thing here I wanted to talk about to open the show up, Broder. Me and you were texting about it last night. Max Crosby. You said it, and I felt it as well. And I've had this feeling on Max Crosby for a little while now, like over a couple months. He is right up there with the TJ Watts, the Bosas, the Myles Garrett, the Aaron Donald, like those elite defensive linemen. He's up there. And I think last night a lot of Lions fans, a lot of national people got to see that on display. And you were at the game, so you probably could feel it a little bit more than we could watching it. But that man is a monster.
He's incredible. I realize how little I've seen him play, or just being in Las Vegas, not in our market or so. I just haven't watched enough Raiders. They're bad too. I haven't watched enough Raiders game, but to see him, to actually watch him do work every single play. Like, I know we overuse the he's got a motor, but this dude is an animal. He is. We were texting, like you said. To me, he's in that elite class, that top tier of defensive players, defensive edge rushers. I put him just above Aiden Hutchinson, and I don't know if I believed that before I saw him play this game. I would have put him and Aiden Hutchinson in the same category. I think Max Crosby deserves to be in that top tier.
And I posted on Woodward last night. Him and Aiden Hutchinson did a little jersey swap, and it blew up when they did that. But every single comment when I went and looked back, and this is going to kind of foreshadow what we're talking about with the trade deadline stuff, every single comment in that was, Max, stay in Detroit. Don't leave. Take that jersey, but keep it in Detroit. Go to the Lions locker room. Like, don't get on the plane. Like, everything was like, Max, we want you to stay here. Like, you're going to be here in the next 24 hours, which, as we now know, no one's coming to Detroit besides one player. So,
right, how about this? Lupin's Chocolate in the chat says, I hate using the term alpha, but that fumble strip was alpha AF. That was an alpha play, and whether it was a fumble or not is besides the point. But for him to do that, that's alpha AF, my guy or girl.
That was not a fumble. That was crazy.
I don't think it was either.
That got called a fumble.
But the move alone in itself, insanity.
Yeah.
Max, that extra X is making a difference for sure.
So last thing here, I guess we have only about 2 more minutes left before we go to a break. I don't know if you guys tuned into the stream last night. You were at the game, weren't you?
Oh,
JB, were you tuned in? If you guys aren't watching these streams, I know, like, if you guys are listening right now, you have to watch these streams. They're elite. We have a good squad usually there. Broder, you were here last week for it, and that kind of sucked. The only week that you came, it was like a 30-point loss.
Yeah, so I'm never coming back.
Yeah,
You said it was
you're not
only
invited.
a 30-point loss? What the?
Well, yeah, it was a 30-point loss.
36.
Because the vibes in here are great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting there. I've got, like, Easy or Spencer next to me, Lucas, D-Mac
smelly.
behind me. We've got bets going. I gave out the Lions +5+ sacks. And a lot of people, I was getting messages, a lot of people put that on from the pregame show. And the plus 1,600 smacked. And it's been like 4 or 5 straight weeks. I gave out player of the game the last 4 weeks. I've given out one player to go off and to take every single one of their props. Last 4 weeks, it's hit every time. This week, Sam Laporta. All I needed was 5 catches, 45 yards, and a touchdown. Everything hit. So make sure you guys are tuning into those. I just want to throw that out there. There was a little bit at the end there, too.
Sammy Laporte's had himself a day.
He has been a dog.
Rookie class. I think 7 out of 8 played, and Hendon Hooker was the only one who didn't play and actually contribute.
He is a
rookie class.
And we have a segment on the rookies today. And you know what, too? I was thinking this, Broder, when we were doing the kind of the thing here. It kind of works into the trade deadline stuff because a lot of people didn't want Brad. There was like that side of people who didn't want Brad Holmes to make a move because there's like the draft capital and like let's save draft picks for Brad. And there is that argument to where, hey, if you look at the rookies right now, but then I put a tweet out there and I said, hey, those players in the from the NFL draft this April coming up, they can really help you for this playoff run this year, can't they?
Oh yeah,
the 2024 draft I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's they're coming, so they're forcing the guys on the team now to secure their roster spot. No, I don't know. We're gonna get into more detail about it, but you're right.
That's the thing that's crazy to me.
Yeah, keep it in there. When are we talking about? 8:45.
I'm gonna get heated.
Yeah, just chill, bro.
I will.
Before we go, actually, because we're only taking a second on this. We just got to review the rankings. The Pick'em rankings.
I almost forgot.
You moved into second place, but in last place is our TD booth, captained by Jaylen. Although he's never made a pick on Friday, so he doesn't deserve being in last place. Went 4-6, got a season record of 33-32. In third place, the sound booth between Nick and JB went 3-7 last week. These were your picks.
Nick.
That was Nick's pick.
That was
Nick's
Nick's season 35-30. Booner, you jumped up. You went 7-3 to move into second place at 37-28 on the season. I remain in first place with a 6-4 week record. My season record is 40-25.
I'm 3 games back.
So we're all within it.
Love where I'm at.
Yeah. Hey, just
I'm
going
to
to
make some moves at the
you.
deadline to get my team right.
Yeah.
I'm going to make some moves. I'm for sure.
I don't know if that happens.
All right, we're going to go to break real quick. When we do come back, we are going to get into this Lions matchup at 8:15. Remember, stick around here at 8:45, 9 o'clock. We're going to talk a little bit about that trade deadline. I know a lot of you guys probably are coming in to tune into the trade deadline talk. We will talk about that for a good amount of time this show. But when we come back, we're going to talk about this Lions game, Monday Night Football. JB, tell us about the Academy of Warren, baby.
Oh, I got you. The Academy of Warren has a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house with a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field, which can also be used for 7-on-7 football. At the Academy of Warren, it features kindergarten through 8th grade with AM and PM latchkeys, smaller classroom sizes, a learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, and so much more. The Academy of Warren is now accepting new enrollment, so go and check them out online today at theacademyofwarren.net.
.net.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
All right, let's talk about it. That is Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of the Woodward Sports Network. It is Michigan grown. It is family owned. Bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers. You can get it all. Liberty trailers, generic generators, snow X-plows and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. You could buy it. You could rent it. 0% financing. Delivery right to your doorstep. That is OutdoorEquipCo.com. Whoa! Went through on that one there. Hey, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. My name is Booner.
My name's Ted.
Ted Lasso. And I'm Bobby Boucher. Booner Boucher. Ted Lasso. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to get right into it here.
Please.
Huge win from the Detroit Lions. I guess you could say huge or not. I take it as a huge win. Double-digit win in the NFL is always a big win to me.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
How horrendous a loss would be makes it that much. If they didn't win that game, it would have been a problem.
It was a 26-14 win, but I think everyone in the chat, I think all of us in this room, fan bases, I think even nationally, everyone that was watching the Monday Night Football game, the whole time, even when it was a one-possession game in the second half for a little bit, you could still feel like you were like, hey, this Detroit Lions team's dominating the Raiders right now, like absolutely dominating. There was no time I felt worried about the Detroit Lions kind of slipping up and losing that game. Like what was the yards? Let me pull it up real quick here.
And there were some moments where they didn't look so great, but you're right. It felt dominating from start to finish.
So right here, total yards, 486 to 157. That's
crazy.
Dominating win. That's like as good as it gets in the NFL. And yes, I know 26-14, they kind of had the ball at the stretch there to kind of pull it into a one-possession game. You just never had a feeling that the Detroit Lions defense was ever going to let this slip away. The offense constantly was going. That was the one problem I had was the offense. Every time you got to the red zone,
yeah.
I don't know if and I want to kind of get your opinion on this. I don't know if it was more so Ben Johnson play calls, because it felt like that 2nd and 1. You have a 2nd and 1 at the 6-yard line.
Not the time to do
a trick play.
Yeah, that's probably not the time. Although they've worked this year, and because it's not the time to do it, maybe that is why he did it. It's like no one would expect it, but at that point of the game, you want to get your point, like get that first down or punch it in. And I think, to me, it told me that they didn't have that confidence yet in running it up the middle near the goal line with Jahmyr Gibbs. They're gaining a lot of confidence with Gibbs. I don't want to take anything away from Jahmyr's performance yesterday, but to do that down there, it was questionable.
It was like that whole drive. It was like Gibbs, and then there was another possession too, to where they just kept giving it to Gibbs, and then they get inside the red
fumble.
zone. Yeah, the fumble, and they just go Craig Reynolds 3 times straight.
Yeah,
and it was Gibbs has dominated this game. So you have 2 different possessions: one first red zone, one where you do a trick play, 2nd and 1 at the 6, and then you have a flag moves you back, and you end up getting a field goal. And then another red zone possession where you give it to Craig Reynolds at the 4-yard line 3 times, gets stopped, fumbles the ball. You go get touchdowns on those 2, you win this game like 50-14.
Yeah, the reserves are in by midway through the third.
It's a completely different game, and that confidence is built. Like I don't know.
Time of possession, 39 minutes and 33 seconds to 20 minutes and 27 seconds. They just controlled the ball. Even after the game, we heard Dan Campbell in his press conference. He talked about the pick 6 from Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And that they were more angry than disappointed in that was just a bad throw, a bad decision. Half trying to throw it away, half trying to just throw it, down for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and end up Marcus Peters takes it 75 yards. But he talked after that. Their mindset after that was, we just get the ball right back. Let's keep driving, let's keep going, and we got to punch it in the end zone, which they had problems doing yesterday, but they got the points when it counted.
In like the Craig Reynolds, that fumble there.
That was huge.
It was huge, but we were sitting right there on the stream, and the first thing I said was, get a takeaway, let's get a takeaway. Let's go force another turnover on the opposite end. And right after that, Kirby Joseph interception.
It was the next play,
right?
Very
Kirby Joseph gets an interception. So that's like, it's kind of like the response for like a pick 6 or like a.
Or was that after the Josh Reynolds fumble?
Josh Reynolds
fumble. It was Josh Reynolds
fumble. Yes, I apologize. Which they never went at Josh Reynolds after that.
What happened?
They just did not target Josh Reynolds.
In fact, they went and targeted a Browns wide receiver. No, they're not bailing on anything Josh Reynolds related.
I know. Did you have a bet in Booner?
I did. I needed 25 from Josh Reynolds.
A lot of people had him for like 2 receptions, and they were at the game just going crazy in my section.
He didn't even get a target after that.
I thought he was hurt.
It was weird. It felt like it was like after that, you would think one of your best receivers, you fumble the ball, you're like, go right back at him.
No, 100%.
Like, get him
Especially
going.
how usually his passes are first down. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That was something I was kind of a little worried about, but I still think he's our number 2. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown's the number 1. I think depending on the day, the defense, the team you're playing, I think it can rotate from Josh Reynolds to J-Mo and now to Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Can we just real quick, I don't want to throw us off a little bit. Can we just have this Amon-Ra St. Brown our conversation real quick?
What, you could put him in the Hall of Fame already?
No Hall of Fame, but we talked about, and we've been pretty vocal about him being in like a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro player. I apologize. He's on track right now for about 1,500 yards.
After missing a game.
And that's missing a game. He's on track for 1,500 yards. He's on track for 130 catches. Missing a game.
I play real sports.
He's going to be an all-pro wide receiver. Even if he misses
exercising.
Another game, I think he still gets he's an all-pro.
I mean, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, it's one of those things when he's active. Once we learned that he was not going to be missing that game last night due to illness, you almost just expect whatever he was dealing with. You still expect 6, 7, 8, 9 catches. I think he only had 6, but
crazy.
5 of which were in the first half. He had 5 for 94, I believe it was, in the first half. It's just consistent production, and it's production when you need it the most in those third downs. Just moving the man does it all, and he does it in key moments. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's the perfect receiver for this team, and I think Donovan Peoples-Jones. I don't mean to keep going back to him, but we're going to talk about it. He's the perfect fit for this team. That from an identity standpoint, and we'll get into the X's and O's and stuff, but
Broder.
like it's a great fit just to bring him in. It's not what everyone wanted. You want to go defensive line, I go defense, but DPJ is going to help this team. I can tell you that.
We talked about it last week when Marvin Jones kind of left. It was like there is that little void there, like a veteran type player that's been in the league and that can block and make a play here and there when you need it and kind of just be that voice. That's what it feels like DPJ is going to kind of come in and not take that whole veteran presence, because obviously he's only been in the league a few years, but that other spot that you just had open.
Yeah.
Like Antoine, you're trying to fill in with a rookie Antoine Green. And that just isn't, like when you're already used to Marvin Jones for 6-7 weeks, That's a hard little follow up there.
Yeah, the move, it tells you their thoughts on if Antoine Green's really ready yet. I think he still has plans. They have plans for him in the future with this team, but they might not have thought, or they decided that he's not going to be that guy to be that third, fourth, or fifth, whatever that type of receiver they need on any given day. Donovan Peoples-Jones and Josh Reynolds can do that. Antoine Green's not ready for that moment yet.
No, he's not. I'm going to tell you guys real quick before about the pregame show or
tell them
post game show. Let me tell you guys about the post game show real quick. That is, if you guys probably tuned in yesterday, that show was popping off yesterday. It was a great time. They were taking callers.
H2O.
There was Kool-Aid going on. Everything was happening there. The Woodward Sports Lions post game show directly after all the Lions games, hosted by the one, the only Maz and Stick, two legends, man. They are both hosting it. Typically, yesterday I believe Anson was on, so make sure you guys tune into that right after the show or after the game on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Broder,
Booner.
This bounce back game, you know what kind of reminds me of?
Please tell me.
We bring these examples up a lot, but these games right here, when you're favored like this, there's teams in the NFL, and we've seen it a lot this year, and everyone's talking about how wide open the NFL is right now. A lot of these teams and contenders and these big-time teams, they've dropped some of these games. The one thing about the Lions is, yes, I know you lost to the Seahawks, who is a playoff team, and yes, you lost to the Ravens, who is a playoff team and a contender in the AFC. Every game that the Lions have been favored and had to go in there, and they're like, this is our game. Like, you have to win this game because you lose. They win. Go look at the Cowboys. They go into Arizona and drop. The Lions aren't losing games like that this year. That's where
they're beating the teams that they should.
Yes, and coming out of this win here, that's where I was extremely confident about. Like, knowing that, hey, when things are down, like you just lost by 30-something points to a contending team, you need to have a bounce back. You can't afford to lose this game. In the past, Lions teams would end up dropping 2, dropping 3, dropping 4. Last year, we saw it. You start 1-6. That's what happened last year. Year 1 with Dan Campbell, you saw it. They responded in Monday Night Football in primetime, and everyone got to, after losing by 30 points and everyone was talking bad about you, they responded and they got a win in primetime, brother. And like I just wrote it down here. I put Cowboys and Chiefs. Like, these teams they've lost to random teams. Like, they go out and lose a game that they're not supposed to lose, and that's been happening all throughout the league. Everyone's like, who's gonna win the NFL? Who's gonna win the Super Bowl this year? No one knows.
No, it's the NFL.
The 49ers just lost 3 straight. And then, yes, we're going to get to the trade deadline. But they still just lost 3 straight, and there's a reason why they're making moves right now.
Yeah. So Terry Foster, he wrote an article after the game last night, and he compared the Lions to a rubber ball. He said one thing the Lions proved is they are like a rubber ball. After falling flat against Seattle and the Ravens, they bounced back with solid wins over Atlanta Falcons and the Raiders. So they're learning how to come back from those games. But you're right. They're beating the bad teams, and they're not letting bad quarterbacks beat them.
Yes.
They beat Patrick Mahomes. They beat Patrick Mahomes, but the quarterbacks who beat him, Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith, an above-average quarterback, but when they're playing the Baker Mayfields, the Jimmy Garoppolos, the Jordan Loves, who am I missing, the Desmond Ritters of the world, they're not letting those guys get hot. They're not letting those guys beat them. And for fans that know the experience of Sam Darnold and Matt Flynn and all these quarterbacks that the Lions allowed to earn millions and millions of dollars just from their one game against the Lions, that era is over.
It is, and
they now beat those quarterbacks. They make them look bad.
They do. That's what gives me the confidence in this team. And when we get into kind of these trade deadlines and kind of go over that, that's where I'm going to kind of stand. I'm going to play both sides of the water here to kind of get a feel for. Yeah, I know a lot of people. It seems like there's just so many people up in arms today on Twitter and in the chat on the last show in regards to this whole trade deadline. But just seeing the Lions win last night and kind of not drop a second straight game, they haven't lost 2 games in a row yet this year. And they've been going on these streaks to where I think they go beat the Chargers and they start another streak where they play the Bears, beat the Bears, play the Packers, beat the Packers. You can rattle off 4 or 5 wins here, this Detroit Lions team. Gives me confidence that you still can compete, not just the NFC, but in the NFL. Before we go to break, though.
Yes.
Biggest takeaway. I have a takeaway. I want to hear your biggest takeaway.
You go first. Since I had the read ready, so now I got to reshape my head, reshape my brain. You do it. I got you.
Biggest takeaway is something I say all the time is win the turnover battle. Lions lost the turnover battle and still found a way to win by double digits and dominate.
Facts.
Lost the turnover battle and still found a way to dominate.
Facts.
That's my biggest takeaway. That is unbelievable to do that in the NFL.
Hey, this is off the cup. They made a bad quarterback. We were just talking about. They made Jimmy Garoppolo look as bad as I've ever seen him.
His worst game ever.
It has to be. Has to be. To me, the Panthers look like a better team than the Raiders. This looked like, and this not to take away from the win, because it was an ugly win, but the Raiders last night looked like the worst team that the Lions have played this season, and that's just the way it is. What are you going to do? But let me tell you about Mark White Real Estate. Because
Mark
buying
White
or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. So sellers, how would you like the freedom to cancel your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? Well, that's exactly what you can do with the Mark White and Associates minute-by-minute listing agreement. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242, markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Just in time for football season, Glorious Cannabis is dropping their brand new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. Smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of our Detroit football team. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you are definitely missing out. Find them at a Dispo dispensary near you for 25% off. Use code Woodward, and once again, that website, gloriouscanna.com.
Goated.
Beautiful read, JB. Hey, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate you guys all locking in. Beautiful Tuesday night victory Tuesday. I've got the glasses. I took them off here. It's really dark in the studio when I had these on, to be honest.
It's dark outside.
It is. It is Halloween outside. When I left my house today, I was coming in and trick-or-treating just started, and there were so many kids outside. I was having to, like, drive. They walk on the street. The kids, they do whatever they want when it's Halloween.
Animals.
It's like a parade. You know, like the parade, they shut the streets down. It's like a parade, but they don't shut the streets down, and you're allowed to drive. I didn't know what was happening.
It's spooky season, you guys.
I do like Halloween, but actually tomorrow's one of my favorite days of the year, because after Halloween's over, it's officially Thanksgiving and Christmas season.
Oh, you hungry?
I love Thanksgiving and Christmas. That time of year is the best.
Oh, God, no. Because all I can think of is the Mariah Carey song is just going to start.
I love that song, JB.
No.
Hey, I got my version. I can sing it on the show.
Oh, boy.
Do we need a delay on that version?
Yeah, so it's like a reverb, auto-tune, maybe about a couple 15 singers behind me.
15 singers behind
Yeah.
a train. Okay, yeah, I'll figure that out in my head off mic.
Think about
Just
that,
in case.
Ted.
Yes.
There you go, Ted.
But
Yeah,
you see, speaking of Thanksgiving, Jack Harlow announces the halftime performer.
That'll
I don't know if
be
you
a
guys
good
like that or not. Jack Harlow's popular with the kids these days. We have Jack, they have Taylor. We actually have Jack and Taylor. I don't know. That's what Ted Lasso says or something, man.
He's
Who said
popular
that?
with the kids these days.
I don't know.
What?
Jack Harlow's got some bangers.
Yeah, no, he does. I like Jack.
And
Harlow.
MASH.
He's
not
got
from
some
England.
great. He's got some great music.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into
Yeah.
it then. I don't know what Broder just said. That was wild.
different. Jack
It
Harlow.
was. Let's talk about this real quick. I want to go over leading into this trade deadline talk. Let's talk about how the defense has been playing.
Please.
Because yesterday they were great. They not just great, they were elite yesterday, and that's been the thing. Kind of, I feel like with this defense is we just talked about it. You win these games versus average teams in the games you're supposed to win. In those games, the defense steps up. The games where you're playing against like a Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith, I'm not going to throw the Chiefs in there because you won that game, but those the 2 losses you have, your defense didn't really show up, and they didn't have a game plan, it felt like, and those were the 2 games where you can be like, hey, Aaron Glenn, what happened? Or you could be like, hey, we need that other piece. We need something else. Yesterday, the defense only gave up 157 yards.
That's wild.
Insane. And right now, they're still ranked the second best rushing defense in the NFL. Technically, the defense held the Raiders to 7 points yesterday.
Yeah.
Because you take away pick six, you held them to 7 points. Broder, confidence level on this defense. Next segment, we're going to get into this trade talks. Confidence level, though, let's just say right now with this defense going forward, I'm pretty confident them. I do want to see versus like a real team, which I think versus the Chargers, you're going to find out quick.
Yeah.
Where are you at with that?
So the defense as is, I do have some reservations about it. If they can compete with the Eagles, the 49ers, whoever's there at the top of the NFC come playoff time. They look good yesterday. They looked dominant yesterday, but the teams they're playing are going to be far better than the Raiders. The offensive lines, the running games, the whole operation of whatever offense is playing is going to be a lot better when they play those top teams. And I worry, again, Neil's going to hate me for saying this, but I worry that Aiden doesn't have another rusher, on top of Ali McNeil, another defensive tackle, more help to let him be free.
Yep.
And I know his play opens it up for the other guys, but as much as I love the other guys, the consistency hasn't been there for them. Aiden Hutchinson has the consistency. He's always getting pressure on the quarterback. Sometimes he gets sacked, sometimes he doesn't. But it's the consistency of the other guys around him. They look great yesterday, but you can't bank on Alex Anzalone having 2 sacks, Tracy Walker having a sack. It was nice to see Julian Okwara get a sack, but he's not in your plans for being your consistent edge rusher. You're going to need, and we're going to talk about on the trade deadline, you're going to need James Houston, Josh Pascal, some of these guys coming back from injury to take on that role. I have some concerns of that being the strategy, although that helps long term, sticking with your guys and not going out and getting a Chase Young, a Montez Sweat, someone big. I hope those guys come back and healthy.
Me too. And that's the biggest thing, too, with this, Broder, and I'll second that. Yes, the Detroit Lions had 6 sacks yesterday. 2 of them were one of your linebackers, Alex Anzalone. Mm-hmm. You're sending the house in those plays, and Alex Anzalone gets one. You're sending Tracy Walker. He gets one. Obviously, Aleem, your defensive tackle. One of your inside guys gets 2 of them. And then, obviously, only one of your edge rushers gets a sack when you have 6. To me, that is a problem. That's the problem we've talked about when we're going to next segment when we get into the trade deadline. When you really look at it too, the linebacking core has been great. Yeah. That they have been elite. I don't even think I don't think anyone thought this is how they were going to be playing coming into this season.
They're still getting better too. They haven't been perfect, but Alex Anzalone's been that dude.
He's elevating everyone else around him. He's making so many people better, like a Derek Barnes. Like Derek Barnes isn't having the year if Alex Anzalone isn't out there doing what he's doing right now. Jack Campbell, you see him kind of, and he has gotten lost on some plays, and he's a rookie still. He's still learning, but he's been getting better as he's kind of in that little Sam linebacker spot, which I did have a conversation with someone that's a little worrisome the way he's been playing there. Yeah. I don't know if that's like a big deal. Or...
But Booner, let me just be clear. I'm pretty sure I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. Are you saying what worries you about this isn't that they played great? Like, there's nothing against how they played yesterday. They did what was needed, and they got those sacks. They got that pressure. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're a little worried. Is that sustainable? Can that happen against the San Franciscos of the world, or do you need to see that out of more of that defensive line?
100%. Okay. That's exactly what I'm saying. Because, and let me go back to this real quick. In the pregame show, I gave out the 5+ sacks, right? And I gave that out a couple times earlier this year. One time, I made the mistake of giving it out versus it might have been Lamar Jackson, and it was it was because I thought they were going to be able to contain him, which they couldn't. Now going into this week, it felt like a lock because the biggest thing that they haven't been able to do is contain mobile quarterbacks. Jimmy G, he can just stand there, right? You can get him no matter what. But when you start playing these real football teams, if you get to the Super Bowl and you're playing Patrick Mahomes, I promise you're going to have an issue if you can't contain him like you did week 1, and you had 0 sacks for Patrick Mahomes, and he has Travis Kelce out there. That is going to be a major, major problem. And I know Brock Purdy isn't the mobile type, but you're going to have to get to him, and he still can move and get out of the pocket. He's not a Jimmy G. That's the reason why they moved on from Jimmy G, is because they have a guy like Brock Purdy who can move a little bit and make plays.
Yeah.
So that is my worry. That's why I chose the 5+ sacks, is because of that. But when you look at this, Broder, between Romeo Okwara, Josh Pascal, Levi Onwuzurike, John Kaminsky, Julian Okwara, Charles Harris, between all those edge rushers, the only edge rusher I didn't name was Aiden Hutchinson. And guess what? Combine all of those guys together, Aiden Hutchinson has the same amount of sacks as every single one of those guys. So, yes, you have 3 games with 5, and 7 sacks. That's beautiful. 17 sacks in 3 games this year.
Awesome.
That's great. But guess who they're not coming from? Your edge rushers, your other players. So, to Neil's point earlier today, yeah, Aiden Hutchinson has had people help him out. They had 6 sacks today, and Aiden Hutchinson had 0. But it's not the other side of the ball that's helping him out.
Right.
It's Benito Jones. It's Aleem McNeil. It's the linebackers. It's the secondary. Those guys are the ones doing it. So that's where I think this defense kind of
And that secondary,
guys have to step up.
Yeah, and that secondary did it yesterday. I don't know if you saw, but Aaron Glenn got the game ball. Dane Campbell gave Aaron Glenn the game ball, who then turned around and he was like, hey, Jerry Jacobs, Cam Sutton, come on up here. Hey, Coach Campbell, like, these are the 2 guys that deserve the game ball. And they played fantastic. It surprised me to see, because that defensive line, the sacks, that was sort of the highlight of the game. They were always in that backfield, making it uncomfortable for Jimmy Garoppolo. But Aaron Glenn pointing that out sort of shows, even if they're not making tackles, even if they're not making plays on any given play, they're doing things to affect what that quarterback is doing, the decisions that Jimmy G is doing. Now, I know if he actually threw the ball, he wasn't going to hit the receivers yesterday anyway, but that's besides the point. Cam Sutton was all over Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. Jerry Jacobs had a couple amazing plays, and that flag he got early in the game was BS.
And I know you could make the argument. I mean, this secondary, to me, we have a great secondary, in my opinion. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I think our secondary with Tracy Walker, Kirby, Jerry, Brian Branch, and then Cam Sutton, and then you're going to get back CJ.
Do you have a butt coming?
Most likely. But the issue is like these Ravens games and the Seahawks games, is these guys can guard. They can't guard their guys forever. And I understand versus the Ravens, you had Will Harris, and that wasn't the whole thing. Like, Will Harris isn't the reason Lamar Jackson had one of the best games of his career passing-wise. That's not the reason. The reason is you can't contain him, and your secondary can't guard for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So, like, Brad Holmes built the secondary. He went and paid Cam Sutton, CJ, who's hurt, but drafted Kirby. Tracy Walker kept him. Like, he went and brought the right pieces, and he's developed they developed Jerry Jacobs. But this defense can be great.
And like you say, it
can be great.
I don't want to just call out Will Harris. That's not my goal here. But losing Jerry Jacobs in that game was a huge loss.
Massive.
And so you wonder if Cam Sutton or Jerry Jacobs goes down for any game.
I don't know.
That's where there's a little bit of an issue.
Now you move quick. You move quick to like a Chase Lucas or a Stephen Gilmore.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah,
I don't want to see get put in a position again with or if say like in the playoffs something happens. I think if CJ comes back, you move like a Brian Branch or something.
Yeah.
You have multiple safeties out there, Tracy, Kirby, and Brian Branch. Mm-hmm. You might have to, I don't know, figure something out to kind of move things around.
There's a lot of ifs, and I think I'm not bashing the trade deadline or the Lions' strategy, but the what ifs, the banking on players coming back from injury, banking on coaches. I think this is a big reason why they didn't make a huge move. They're expecting these coaches to continue to develop these young players. Not just the ones coming back, but the players that are healthy now. Develop them to get better in the pass rush, get better in pass coverage. So there's a lot falling on the Dre Bly's of the world, the John Scott Jr.'s coaching that defensive line. It was great to see Broderick Martin out there getting a couple reps. It means they got some plans for him this year, and it's great to see him. But he needs to do a lot more to actually contribute on a playoff run.
Before we go to break, quick question. I was wondering about the Isaiah Bugs thing.
Yeah.
What was it? Did you hear anything? Because Broderick, I heard Jeff kind of mention on the pregame, maybe it was the stream. He said maybe they just wanted to get a feel on Broderick.
Yeah.
Before the trade deadline.
And I don't have I don't know the true reason behind it, because it appears to be a healthy scratch. To me, it seems like the smart thing would be to have Bugs out there with Broderick Martin, or at least have them both active on the same night.
A thing?
I don't know. Like versus Benito Jones. I don't know what the strategy was behind it, but They wanted Broderick Martin out there at DT, and I think that spot on their active roster went to him versus Bugs.
Do you know what showed too though? Josh Jacobs had the best game of his season so far.
Yeah,
like yards per carry wise, without
good.
Bugs in there. Bugs, as much as like, you know, things going on, you wanted to see Broderick Martin. Bugs is a huge piece when it comes to the run game.
Yeah,
there's he's part of the reason why you're second in the NFL in rushing defense is because of Isaiah Bugs.
Yeah.
So that yesterday, I feel like when we were all sitting here watching the game, we all kind of could feel like that one possession where Josh Jacobs just kept getting 5 yards, 6 yards, right through the middle, right where Isaiah Bugs usually is, clogging that up. There was no Bugs there, and it's Broderick Martin.
I don't know who
difference.
I don't know who. If I were Josh Jacobs or Devontae Adams, I don't know who would be more pissed today. Like Josh Jacobs, he looked good, but he had no help. Like he could break one tackle or make one move and get that first couple yards, but there was nothing open after that. He didn't have any blockers. And Devontae Adams, although he didn't have his best game, he dropped the ball. That one pass, he was wide open. Jimmy G overthrew him by 20 yards. That offense is uglier than I thought.
It is. They're going to have some work to do in the offseason. I don't think they make the playoffs. They're going to have some work to do.
Oh no.
Let's hit break, and then when we come back, we're getting into it. What all of you guys probably are here for. Obviously, Victory Tuesday. You guys are here for. We know that we're celebrating a win, but we're talking about the trade deadline when you come back. Make sure you guys stay tuned in. Broder, tell us about Feldman first.
Feldman, since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. They call it the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. You just got to visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you and catch Woodward Sports live from Feldman Chevrolet Novi every other Monday. They will be there this upcoming Monday. Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. But Booner,
yes,
one more from you.
Let me tell you about another great defense. That is customized solutions from real experts. It is Guardian Alarm. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring calls anytime, day or night. And know that a Guardian Alarm team member, they will stay on the phone as long as needed. That is technology that is backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that has been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Make sure you guys call it right here on the screen, 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Stay out. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, dry-aged beef, and Wagyu beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for some grab-and-go steaks, or you can order them online at fairwaypacking.com.
All right, we are back. It is the Woodward Sports Network, and it is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate you guys all locking in with us tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Huge night. It's Victory Tuesday. It is Halloween, and most of all, what you guys all are probably here to listen to and talk about, it is the trade deadline day. And Broder, Ted Lasso, Brad Holmes only made one move, and I'm sure he did not make the move that everyone was pleased about. I can guarantee you that. Last week, we went over our rankings of like, what do you want to see Brad Holmes get? Number one, I think we all could agree with. I think me and you had the same list: DN, corner, and then I think it went to like running back. And at that time, that was before Jameer. I think now I would say not running back. I think maybe I would go. I don't know.
Hey, maybe you go offensive line, like add another depth piece. Who knows?
Those are the two, though. I think a very well-known thing around the NFL, or not just in Detroit, was, hey, we need to go get an edge rusher. You need to do that. And there were multiple guys available, Broder. I know over in Washington, you had Montez Sweat available. You had Montez Sweat. Drawing a blank right now. Chase Young. I don't know. That was the biggest one, too.
You're good.
Leonard Williams was available. There were dudes available at the deadline today. And going into today, no one knew who was going to get them. And all we knew was, hey, you could probably get one of these guys for a second or a third. And we knew that. Everyone, it was well known that the Lions needed this piece to be able to kind of move forward and contend. Because that is what contenders do. And guess what happened throughout the day today?
What?
The Philadelphia Eagles this week got a piece. The 49ers got a piece. The Seattle Seahawks got a piece. And the AFC, the Buffalo Bills went and got a piece, who are a team that's looking to take a step and contend this year. There are teams in the NFC. When you look at the top 5 teams in the NFC, Broder, what do you think of? I think of the 49ers. I think of the Seahawks. I think of the Eagles. And I think of the Detroit Lions. And then you can add in the Cowboys. This is a problem I think that we had going into today. Is you had to make a move to bring in a defensive end, because worst case scenario that happens, one of these other teams were going to get them. And guess what happened? Worst case scenario happened. The 49ers went out and got Chase Young. The Eagles went and got a huge secondary piece. The Seahawks went and got Leonard Williams. And guess what? Guess who's in the NFC North? And I know they're not contenders, but guess who went and got Montez Sweat?
The Bears.
The team that we all hate, the Chicago Bears. Worst case scenario, in my opinion, Broder, and to me it comes down to this. Was Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, were they so confident? Where are they at in their timeline? That's how I looked at it. Because they had second and third round picks to give up. Where are they at in their timeline? Were they like, hey, you know what? Maybe this year we can't go get the NFC. Maybe we can't get the Super Bowl. You know what? Hey, we have such a big lead in the North. Maybe we can go get the North. We know that. But were they like, hey, you know what? The NFC isn't in our reach. The Super Bowl wasn't. To me, you make that move, you're right there. If you go get Chase Young and take him away from the 49ers, you're right there with the 49ers. Before it was like this a little bit. You get Chase Young, you're there. And to preface all this before I go to you, Broder, I don't want the people to be like, oh, Booner, like, you're hating on him. You don't think they can win. No, I'm trusting Brad Holmes with this. I'm going to make that very clear. If Brad Holmes has done everything right so far. If he did, I said this a couple at the draft when he picked Jahmyr Gibbs number 12 and he took Jack Campbell, and we all were like, "What are you doing?" A day later, D-Mac told me in the back, "Has he made a bad move yet?" No. All right, I'm going to trust him. Same thing here. Brad Holmes, you didn't go out and get someone. I trust you that you think that they can win a Super Bowl with their current roster they have, and that's where I'm at with it.
Other than Michael Brockers, that was not the best move.
There's some sprinkled within there, but big moves like this, he has been pretty spot on. I'm trusting that Brad Holmes. That's where I've kind of fell on it, because the first couple hours I was pretty mad. Like I was like Easy was when he came up on the heavyweights, because that was fresh for him.
Yeah, you guys are crazy.
That was fresh for him. I felt bad though for the heavyweights, because it's like you get that information, it's fresh. You have to get up here and you have to do it. It's fresh. I had a couple hours to think about this, Broder.
No,
are we on the same page with that?
Yeah. Well, first off, there's 2 buttons I never like to hit. It's the snooze and the panic button. And I don't think all this panic that the Lions can't contend this year, I think is crazy. The path to get there is certainly harder. And I don't think that these moves were all that. Brad Holmes didn't make a move because he's planning for the future or conserving capital or something. I think he truly believes, first and foremost, before that these guys still they have the talent to compete for a Super Bowl. It's just going to be that much more difficult. The path would have been easier if you had a Chase Young, if you had a Montez Sweat, if you had a Leonard Williams or a Patrick Surtain, but they didn't go get him. So I'm thinking they are banking on their coaching staff developing these younger players so that they continue, or that you got your hand raised.
Yeah, I probably should do what Easy did and close the chat, but there's just
the chat is
there's a chat that
he closed the chat.
Mike M said this could blow up in Holmes' face and be like another Jalen Carter type situation. So we will see. First of all, Mike M, the Jalen Carter situation isn't blowing up in anyone's face. Jahmyr Gibbs just had 180 yards yesterday. Sam Laporta is one of the best tight ends in football. You don't get those guys if you go get Jalen Carter. That's a fact. Am I wrong, anyone? Am I wrong?
Wait, what would you say?
The whole Jalen Carter thing. He said he could blow up like it's a Jalen Carter situation.
Oh yeah. Well, this is completely different.
It is, but I've already gotten that scenario multiple times on Twitter as people bringing up Jalen Carter. It's like, hey, listen, Jahmyr Gibbs just had 180 all-purpose yards, the best running back in football this week, and Laporta is a top 5 tight end in the NFL. So let's throw the Jalen Carter thing out of the train with this.
Well, I'm going to bring him up next segment.
I'm gonna have to. If it's about that, I'm gonna have to. To debunk it.
No. I just think they're planning on these guys. They must know or have the confidence that James Houston's healthier than maybe we think. He's going to be back sooner. Josh Paschal's going to stay healthy and come back and make a difference on that defense. C.J. CD Deuce comes back and adds the edge that he adds to that secondary and the versatility to whether it's him or Brian Branch. You can do more things with that secondary with them back. So I just think there wasn't anything out there that was compelling enough. And I know there is a totally another side to this because maybe you pushed your limit a little bit more to bring in a Chase Young, to bring in a Montez Sweat, but I don't know. I just don't think he was willing to sacrifice what their vision of this team, how they do it in Allen Park, how he and Dan Campbell do it. I don't think they're willing to sacrifice any of that. And whether that's right or wrong is another story. But to me, I don't think I don't think Chase Young was ever going to be a Lion. And there was an article that came out earlier this morning from a beat writer in Washington that covers the Commanders and talked about the concerns of his discipline. He's a phenomenal player, and it wasn't even about his injuries. It was his discipline. And that's, to me, that's not the type of guy that Dan Campbell wants in the locker room. I don't want to take a shot at his character. I'm thinking more his discipline on the field, practice, all that. It is character, but I don't know if he's a good or a bad guy. But it's what does he bring to the team other than sacks? And right now, a lot of Lions fans, and there were moments I felt it too, you take the sacks and deal with a little bit of the other stuff. But this early in the rebuild, whatever we want to call it, and I know they're here. The rebuild is over. They're here, but I don't think they're willing to sacrifice their future.
We have to remember, too, there's 2 things I'm going to hit on with this, too. You have to remember, one, the Detroit Lions weren't supposed to be where they're at right now. Brad Holmes has done such a good job as a GM and Dan Campbell's been such a great job building the culture that they're way ahead of schedule of any NFL rebuild. That's a fact. That's very well known. So Brad Holmes he knows what he's doing. Now the other side of it, and this is kind of on Twitter and social and just Lions fans out there right now, is there's like this group of Lions fans and people over here and who think it's like, if you not slander, but go at Brad Holmes and be like, why didn't you make a move? They're like, oh, you're a bad person because you're questioning Brad Holmes.
Oh, yeah, no.
And it's like, no, that's not the case at all. It's, you're allowed to question Brad Holmes. You're allowed to be like, hey, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that?
100%.
If I make a decision in my life, it's not just, oh, yeah, Booner, go ahead. Like, hey, dude, you're doing a great job. Go ahead. Like, no, Brad Holmes is a human. He's going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
To me, it's like an open, like very open door where the 49ers just got the players that we've been comping to come to the Detroit Lions for weeks. The Bears just went and got a player that we've talked about for weeks to come to the Detroit Lions. The Seahawks did the same thing. The Phillies, the Eagles, moves. The Bills. These teams went out and did the players you wanted. So for the people on Twitter who are like, oh, don't go at Brad Holmes. Oh, why are you guys mad about this? You can be mad and you could still trust in Brad Holmes going forward.
Yeah.
Because I still think this team can go and compete for a Super Bowl. And that's what I want very well known, is you can be on both sides here and you can question it and say, man, like, how did you let the 49ers get that? Like, what are we doing here? And then you could be like, you know what? Brad Holmes has done such a good job. There's a reason why there's that new saying. You guys remember this saying? The brand new Lions.
Booner never loses.
Booner never loses, brand new Lions. There's a reason there's that new saying. It's because things like this can happen, and they can still go win a Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Dat Crazy White Boy 620 said in the chat, Holmes equals Iserman. Trust the plan. We got to trust Brad Holmes. And there's one thing that Brad Holmes has that these other teams who did add pieces don't have at their disposal, and it's the schedule coming up. That if you can look at it in a different way, think of that as an asset. I know you can't, it's not a player, it's a schedule. Just think of that as an asset that the Lions have as an advantage over the other teams, and how this coaching staff and how this front office manages that, whether it's making sure guys get healthy, managing their starters down the stretch. If they are going to win the NFC North, which we all believe they're going to do, they still got to go do it. But we believe the path is there. Now it's how do you utilize this easy schedule to their advantage? So come playoff time, they're the healthy team. They're the rested, the energetic team. Wow, the 49ers, Eagles, whoever comes to Ford Field, they got to be going for this number 1 seed now and worry about the playoffs after.
And I think in here, the one, I don't know the name, Corbin. So it's okay.
Corbin.
It's okay to question Brad Holmes, MCDC, etc., but don't act like you know what happened behind the scenes. And I'm with you on that, actually, because before we go to break, Jaylen, there's a video in there of Brad Holmes that I put in, and this is kind of just and I know you guys probably don't want to hear what Brad Holmes has to say, but this is kind of what he had to say in regards to some of these big names that we talked about. Here's Brad Holmes on that right now.
We look at every position. A lot of these names that you might see pop up, they look good in the media, and they are names, but that's often it's not reality. Those same names that you see pop up, when you start getting into conversations, it just doesn't work out for the best for us. Every team has a different plight. Every team's in a different place, different direction, different phase in their team building. But no, there's nothing that we leave unturned or ignored or anything. We look at every position, we look at everything, and this was the best one for us.
All right, that's Brad Holmes. They're basically saying, I know Montez Sweat and Chase Young, Leonard Williams, these guys were available, but there's things behind the scenes that didn't work out. Maybe, like you said, Broder, maybe they weren't a great fit for the culture, and they wouldn't have kind of made a positive impact. Even though it's a big name, there's a lot of sacks behind it. Doesn't mean it's always going to help. You could look at the Nets. They brought all those players in Brooklyn, and guess what happened? They played 10 games total together, and they just went down the hill. You start bringing guys in that you just because of the names, then that's when you start. But
don't get me started about James Harden.
But truly though, if you bring the wrong guys in,
that was different though. They all got hurt.
They got hurt, but
they were 20-1 together.
There were some guys that played together in the playoffs, and they lost to the Bucks.
They were all hurt though, Booner.
Hey, I don't know.
I know for a fact. Trust me.
Guys sat out.
No, Kyrie and Harden were hurt the whole series. At the game 4.
I think you both have good points. They were hurt, but it was a mess.
It was a mess, yeah.
It was a
Kyrie didn't want to play and stuff like that.
JB, you got something before we go to break?
No, just real quick because I know we got a break coming up. But I think that's why Lions fans are a little upset right now because we don't know everything behind what's going on and why the non-pursuit for Chase Young or Montez Sweat. Or maybe if they tried, but just maybe they rejected the offer. As long as you can tell me that Brad Holmes, you at least tried to go out there and get someone, then I'll feel better about it. But until that news comes out, everyone's going to be a little upset and pissed off about it.
I did feel like we saw reports of them kind of speaking. I saw a report this morning that they were in talks with the Commanders for Chase Young. I think it goes back to you, Broder.
Per sources.
But I think it goes back to what you said. I think maybe they just didn't feel like it was a good fit, and he was never going to be a line.
Yeah.
They tried. They were like, hey, we'll give you this. If this isn't it, we're not doing it.
I got something to say about that Montez Sweat trade to the Bears, too. So let me come back. I got you.
Yeah, I have a couple comments here from Easy
I
want to talk about, too. All right, Planet Fitness, it is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships. It includes fitness training. That's right, all of them. You get all of that for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands throughout the world. That is Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Brace yourselves, Detroit, as the sun begins to set. Two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best, and that's going to Premier Pet Supply, because they're hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for 30 years. They got 13 Metro Detroit locations and over 60 brands of food. Pair that with the lowest prices, curbside home delivery. Man, Premier is why they call it Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
All right, we are back. What a good vibe there,
Sworn G.
How about that? What a great vibe. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It was Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button. Let's get the likes up. Let's get over 100 at the end of this segment.
Please.
We're going to continue this, though, Broder. This trade deadline talk.
Yeah.
Because our next segment, anyways, was if the Lions' offense and defense is good enough to kind of go win it all. So we'll kind of tie it into.
Yeah.
I want to continue this trade talk, though, a little bit here because I felt like it was good. You had something about Montez Sweat.
Oh, yeah. It'll be really quick.
Like.
It'll be really quick. I don't mind that trade to the other than wanting Montez Sweat to come to the Lions. The fact that he's going to the Bears, sure, it makes them a little bit better on the defensive end this year, maybe a little more than a little. But that trade doesn't help their future. Like they gave up a second rounder for him, right? Which is going to be an early second rounder. They didn't get offensive line help. They didn't do anything that really scares me long term. They might not even resign him. What?
You know what I think they're doing?
What?
I think they're building that defense with like guys like this. Like obviously they paid all those linebackers. They have like young secondary pieces, and I think now they're starting to build that line with like guys like Montez Sweat, where you're gonna have to pay.
They got some players for sure.
They gave up that second. They still have 2 top 5 picks basically. So they're going to be able to go, if they need to move on from quarterback, go get Caleb Williams. They're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. potentially. So they're going to, I feel like they're maybe building that offense through the draft a little bit.
Yeah,
and
they might be.
They're like, let's spend the money over here.
100%.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and you might be right, but and we'll see how it plays out. But just in the short term,
doesn't feel real.
I don't mind it. Actually, I should say in the long term, I don't mind it. I ain't scared.
Now,
Bone Crusher.
I had here in my notes too.
Yeah.
I spoke with Easy about this kind of when he was leaving and I was coming in. Was can the Detroit Lions kind of still go win a Super Bowl? And that was the main thing with the end of this trade deadline. There's a lot of people on Twitter and everything's like, oh, there's the overreaction side where, hey, this is over. I know I spoke with Spenny and Easy and they're like, no, it's probably like you're probably just going to win the divisional round and you're done. I still think that you still can go win.
Oh yeah,
and I think Brad Holmes. If he didn't think so, let's be completely honest. Trust circle.
Yes, please.
If Brad Holmes didn't think we could win a Super Bowl this year, he would have made a move. He would have made the move.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
If he thought this roster can't win a Super Bowl, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but if this roster can't win a Super Bowl, yes, he's making a move to give them a chance.
We're talking about the GM that traded up to go get another wide receiver that's hurt. We're talking about the GM that just traded to the 6th or 7th overall pick to go get a running back and a linebacker and a tight end in the 2nd round. We're talking about a GM who knows what he's doing and makes moves to win.
Yeah.
He's been making moves that have built this team, and they've been winning from it within 2 years.
Yeah.
So if he felt like they couldn't go, like you're 6-2 going into the bye. You're not in the Vikings position 4-4. You're nothing like that. You're 6-2 going into the bye. You're second in the NFC right now. You don't think Brad Holmes, been in the NFL for years, was with the Rams. You don't think he knows whether or not you can go win like you're 6-2, that hey, it's time to go do it. He knows that. He's one of the best GMs in the game for a reason. He knows that, hey, this is one of your years that you have to go win it.
Yeah.
If he felt like they needed a piece, he would have gotten it. I would have loved to see him do it. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. I'm trusting in Brad Holmes. I looked stupid the day of the draft when that happened, and then a couple days later, D-Mac talked to us and said, hey, trust in him. And then now if you look back at it, Jahmyr Gibbs just had 180 yards, and Sam Laporta's a top 5 tight end.
Yeah.
Because we trusted in Brad Holmes.
100%. I believe in communism. Rom-communism, that is. Like, there's going to be a happy ending. And I think Brad Holmes, it might have been the safe, conservative route, but I think it's one that will lead to a brighter future for this team. And I want to get your take, because we haven't really talked about him much, but Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah.
Like what... I guess, does that move the needle for you? Is it just a good strategic addition to this team? What do you think about that one?
I think it was good. We spoke about Marvin last week, kind of when he left, and that veteran piece in that wide receiver room. And I know Donovan Peoples-Jones has only been in the league, 4 years now?
He's 24?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. So I don't think it's like you're adding a veteran, but I think you're adding that piece that Marvin, like, you have an elite blocker out there. You have someone who can block. You have a guy who, if you need a couple catches here, you can do that. That third, fourth guy and that third, fourth piece, to where if, say Brown misses another game, you have another piece that can step up and really make plays. Because he had 800 yards last year.
Yeah, he's shown flashes at times of being able to be a number one receiver, which he's not a number one receiver, but he's played like that in the past. And he's got a big body, 6'2", almost 210 pounds, maybe 205. I think he'll help a lot in the red zone. I think having a body to go up and get those 50-50 balls. I don't know if he's like how elite he is at going up and getting the ball, but I think he'd probably be one of the better ones we have, him and Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
So that's another piece in the red zone to help a red zone offense that struggled a ton yesterday. And is it actually, I don't know if struggled the right word, with David Montgomery, they've been able to pound it in, but Lions are, I think, leading the NFL in touchdowns outside of the red zone, which is a good stat, but does that tell you when they get it in, they're not making? So Donovan Peoples-Jones, the toughness that he brings, that identity, I think it's maybe underrated isn't the right word, but maybe overused, but accurate way to describe this is an identity piece to come in and fill the Marvin Jones role of whatever you need on that given day, whether it's one catch, whether it's 6 catches, whether it's blocking downfield all day long. I think that's what they're looking to add with Donovan Peoples-Jones. And another guy who's not scared to go across the middle on this play action offense.
Yeah, I do think it was a good piece. I know, like, obviously wide receiver wasn't like a key part where you're like, hey, we need to go get a wide receiver. But it still was a good piece with Marvin. The thing that happened with Marvin last week, like him leaving, okay, yes, you need to make that move. In the chat here, kind of to the point that we were talking about just a second ago, too, Broder, before that, is Easy said, I think he didn't make a move because he doesn't see a Super Bowl roster and wanted the pick. So that's why he spoke on their plan. If you're sitting at 6-2 and you think that you can fight for a 1 seed, like Easy, you said it yourself, you can get the 1 seed. And I know it's because of the schedule.
Yeah.
If you can get a 1 seed, you can fight for a Super Bowl. And I'll do the homework tonight, but go find me a 1 seed where you're like, yeah, they have 0 chance at a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I just don't see, like, in any sport. Like, in any sport, you go get a 1 seed, just because you have an easy schedule, like, you still had to go, like, me and Neil talked about it, and Jeff on the pregame show. You're in the NFL. Every game's a 1-possession game.
Yeah.
But if you can go win that, the Vikings were frauds last year, but they weren't the 1 seed. If you can compete for a 1 seed, I don't care what it is.
Anything
you
can
still
happen.
have a chance to go win it.
Yeah.
And yes, your percentage might have gone down a little bit because you didn't add a piece. Sorry that these comments get me.
I happen to disagree with Easy, but I don't think his comment's outrageous. Like, that is 100% a possibility. Yes. that very. I don't know what's in Brad Holmes' head. That could totally be it. Hey, I don't see anything I like. I'm not going to give up my picks for the future, and we'll kind of roll the dice, try to get to the Super Bowl. But I happen to think that's the opposite. I think he feels they're good enough to compete, even if now they're not in that elite category or didn't add the pieces that the Eagles, the 49ers, those guys added.
Yeah, and then another thing, too, that was mentioned to me was, hey, the 49ers, now they have, obviously, Chase Young and Nick Bosa. How do you stop them if you're in the NFC Championship game?
Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell.
That's exactly. Guess what my response was? Hey, guess what, fellas? You have the number 1 offensive line in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
You have the best offensive line in the NFL.
You know
That's how you're stopping Nick Bosa and a Chase Young.
You know what we haven't talked about? I haven't heard on any of the shows those other teams are making moves with the Lions coming. Like we haven't factored in the thought of how elite the Lions offensive line is, how the other teams might be scared of the Lions, and seeing that offense, seeing that team in the playoffs. Again, I still believe that they probably needed to add another defensive line piece. But on the flip side, these guys are adding edge rushers because they know how strong that Lions offensive line is. And if they're going to slow down Jared Goff in that play action offense,
saw what Gibbs can do now.
They need to do what the Ravens did and just have pressure all day long on Goff. And that's what that's what I think these teams are doing, even the Bears.
I think a lot of people are really blinded about that DN spot, but all right, let's go to the other side of the ball. Yes, you can. There's the situations like Ravens game, all of that. Seahawks game, you were still in the game, right? You were still there with the beat up D line, and Geno did whatever he wanted. Guess what? You were still in the game. And guess what? Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't fully into your offense.
Yeah.
And you have D-Mont. And now we added Donovan People-Jones. Sam Laporta wasn't in his second game of his career. Just think about this offense. Hey, okay, if the defensive line isn't great and then they struggle one game, by the time the playoffs come, your offense is still going to be a top 5 offense in the NFL, and you're going to be able to go at it with some teams.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to go at it with this 49ers team.
Hey, Super Bowl runs aren't always perfect, and taking on a challenge like this is a lot like riding a horse, isn't it? Like, if you're comfortable while you're riding it, you're probably doing it wrong. So let's deal with these obstacles. We're going to get through this. I love the Lions' chances of making this run. We'll see what they do coming out of this bye week.
Hey, before I tell you guys about Hamlin Pub, though, very well, like I'll say this 100 times. You can talk and you can judge Brad Holmes all you want, and then you could be on the other side. All these people on Twitter, and then you could be on both sides of this, fellas.
Yeah, and it's okay to be disappointed.
It is.
Like, there's nothing wrong.
We all are.
I wanted to see a defensive end, even taking in an unbiased position as a member of the media. I wanted to see somebody, but so it's okay to be disappointed. That was my that was my goal.
I wanted Montez Sweat.
Yeah,
that's who I wanted.
Sweat.
All right, let me tell you guys about
Chase
Hamlin Pub. Chase Young. Yes, we wanted those people, man. All right, have you ever wanted a pub or a bar where you are a regular? We have just a place for you. Head over to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today near you and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Do you have
Gabby
football
is a
on the
college
brain?
student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Do you have football on the brain? Well, fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year is already awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop for your home and auto insurance, so why don't you shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance? They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too, so ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177.
And we are back, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Lions, baby.
Lions, baby.
Ryan Ermanni there. Let's go. All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We kind of skipped a little segment there, Broder. Do you want to do that real quick?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let it fly.
Actually, let's move on. Let's go to Gibbs and Laporta here.
Yeah.
Let's go to the rookies.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's hit that. We've got about 10 minutes here. I want to talk about those two guys.
Please.
Both of them went off.
Tell me about
in
it.
Monday Night Football. Jahmyr Gibbs, 152 rushing yards, 37 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, 5.8 yards per carry. And then Sam Laporta, 8 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown on that. Both of them have a touchdown yesterday. Sam Laporta gets his 4th of the year. Jahmyr Gibbs, 2nd of the year. I have, and I'll do it in just a little bit. I have a little comparison I want to throw out there that we've been comparing Jahmyr Gibbs to Alvin Kamara. I have some stats and things I want to throw out there to kind of make the people feel better about that. I want to go to you first. What are your thoughts on these two guys? Because I didn't know, you did mention you have a little thing with Jaylen Carter. I think this was this segment that you spoke about. So I would like to hear that as well.
This is just, I've been waiting for a chance, not to fire back, but just to answer the skeptics that remain about Jaylen Carter. And granted, Jaylen Carter would be great on this defense. He's a piece that I believe they need. But what we got to trade Jaylen Carter, and for whatever reason, we still don't know the reason that Brad Holmes didn't go after him. It could have been a character. It could have been anything. But with that pick, we got Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta, and on the brightest stage, those two showed up, and were arguably the two keys to victory. I mean, there were a lot of guys who played well, but those two guys showed out on Monday Night Football. I actually can't remember if you just gave Gibbs stats, but I mean, he had like 26 rushes for 150-some yards, another 5 receptions in the last 2 games. I think it's 14 receptions on 15 targets. They're starting to go to him more all over the field. I'm excited to see what he looks like when Montgomery gets back and the things they can do in this offense. And then Laporta, another 8 catches, all crucial, first downs, touchdowns. Laporta is the freaking man, and he's turning himself. I mean, it's not even a rookie. He's one of the best tight ends already
Top 5
in the
NFL
league
right now.
He's the real deal.
He is, and I think it's very well known around the league now. National media knows it. Obviously, Monday Night Football, he went out and put on a show. Now with Jahmyr Gibbs, this is kind of that patience part that we've been talking about, where there was a lot of haters out there, a lot of people who were going at Jahmyr Gibbs the first 5-6 weeks here.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people. And then when he got hurt, people were just kept piling and piling on. And what did we keep saying on this show? And we made that comparison all off season, kind of going through it, was that Alvin Kamara thing, the Mark Ingram, that kind of duo here with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I want to throw some stats out there because a couple weeks ago, actually, I think it was last week, I even put on Woodward Sports Social. I put out, if Jahmyr Gibbs has a big Monday Night Football game, can he still compete for defensive or offensive rookie of the year? And some people were like, oh, I don't know, Booner, that's a crazy thing. Like, he missed 2 games. He's so far behind. We had this comparison all the time with Kamara. He didn't really have that great start, and it didn't take him to about week 5, week 6, week 7, his rookie year, until he really developed and started getting a feel for the game, and he ended up going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let me give you guys some stats here. Let me get my flannel bag real quick. Through 6 games, Jahmyr Gibbs versus Alvin Kamara. Through 6 games, their first 6 career games. So Alvin Kamara's rookie year and Jahmyr Gibbs' rookie year. Kamara, 250 rushing yards, 209 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. So what is that? 429 total yards. Alvin Kamara ended up going on to win Offensive Rookie of the Year that year. He only started off his first 6 games with 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs. This is where it gets interesting. Just his rushing yards alone, Broder, 399. He basically has the same amount of total yards as Kamara did just rushing. On the other side of the ball there, 165, not on the other side of the ball, different aspect of the game, receiving, 165 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. He has 564 total yards right now. This is missing 2 games, Broder, and everyone listening right now. Jahmyr Gibbs is on track for 1,000 rushing yards right now. Missing 2 games.
That's wild.
On track for, it's like 996 yards rushing. He's on track for 1,400 total yards right now. He is ahead of pace of what Alvin Kamara was doing, the comparison that everyone in the whole country has been given to him. The last 2 weeks, he has been elite. He has came on the scene and he has dominated since coming off that injury. and he's going to continue to do that. I'm interested to see what he does with David Montgomery. I think Broder, like you said, with the Jaylen Carter situation, with all these things, I think he has shut the haters up. He has moved everyone to the side and said, listen, no, I'm here. I'm going to be a problem in the NFL. I'm going to be that guy for the Detroit Lions moving forward. David Montgomery will be as well. The fact you might have the best running back duo in the NFL going forward.
I think so.
With these two guys.
Yeah. The key is now how is Ben Johnson going to use them? Because Jahmyr Gibbs, we now know, can do both. Terry Foster talked about this a lot on the Woodward and Maine, our show this morning at 7 a.m. And he said the one thing he was waiting for out of Jahmyr Gibbs, can he prove to be that sort of bell cow running back running between the tackles? Not that they want to run him in between the tackles 25 times a game, but can he do that if they need him? And he answered the call. He runs tough, and I said this before the season, like whether they use him a lot between the tackles or not, he runs hard, he runs physical. And not to throw shots at DeAndre Swift, but it's what Deuce Staley was yelling at him for all last year. It's that physicality, finish your runs. Even in the game yesterday, I think one of his first runs that went to the outside, it wasn't the touchdown, but it was like a 20-25 yarder. He had a chance to just go out of bounds, but no, he took the 3-4 extra yards, lowered his shoulder into the safety coming in. Again, I don't know if that's the long-term strategy you want, but you'd love to see that out of your rookie. He doesn't have any fear. He looked damn good running between the tackles. I'm not going to say he's Barry Sanders, but some of the things he showed, it showed a little bit of Barry in him, the way he's able to go in between the tackles, sort of be suffocated by all the big boys, and then somehow wiggle out unscathed and scamper. This one's for you, Spenny. Scamper to the end zone for a touchdown. It was special. It was really fun watching Jahmyr Gibbs run last night. It was awesome.
Dude, it felt like every time he touched the ball, he was going for 6 yards at least.
Yeah.
Every time. And then even when he caught the ball, it was like he's going to break off or something here. In the touchdown run, all of that. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm kind of over hearing the Jaylen Carter stuff with that. I think after this last game, I think it's perfectly fine to move on from that. No matter what happens, I think, hey, this is a past thing.
Yeah,
you have two great players at the position group that you're in. Let's move on from that.
Let's do it. Anything
else with the rookies here, though?
No,
I just wanted to throw out the Kamara.
Yeah, no, I love it. I want to get. They deserve their flowers. And I guess real quick before we go to break, then we're going to come back and do power rankings. There were 7 rookies who played last night. Colby Shoresdale stepped up in a big way. I know PFF didn't have him ranked so high, but he stepped up, filling in for Halapula Vaitai. He played tough next to Penei Sewell, next to Graham Glasgow. That's not an easy thing to. And then Dan Skipper came in when Yodi got hurt. The communication from all these new offensive linemen, the way they were able to figure it out, the way they were able to sort of muster up the effort and rush for over 200 yards yesterday. Props to Colby Shoresdale. Broderick Martin got in. Antoine Green got a couple snaps. Brian Branch, Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs, they all did. Everyone except Hendon Hooker, who we'll see probably next year. Props to the rookies. That speaks a little more to Brad Holmes. So
yeah.
Love to see it. Should we go to this break early so we come back and do power
because there's a comment here real quick.
Oh, no.
I want to see what you think. Jerry Alexander, if we are, this goes back to the trade deadline. There's a lot. These comments are going to be flowing in all the show, I feel like.
Yeah, hey, let's answer them.
He said if we are okay with the Lions not making a trade, then there should be no more complaints about the defense for the rest of the season. I think we're allowed to complain with whatever we want. For the Detroit Lions right now, guess what? They're 7th in the NFL in defense yards per game given up. 7th, Broder.
Yeah.
They're the second best rushing defense in the NFL right now. There are holes in the defense that we can complain about. We all can agree. I think it was Jerry. We can all agree that they needed another defensive lineman. But guess what? They didn't make the move. You still have to go try and win the NFC and try and win a Super Bowl. We're in the. We'll talk about it, but hey, you still have the 7th best defense when it comes to yards per game and the 2nd best rushing defense in the NFL. All right. Yeah. There we go, brother.
All right, come on back. We're going to do Booner and my power rankings. And then we're going to tear apart some of the national media. Maybe not tear them apart.
I just have one.
Yeah, okay.
Actually.
But is it Petey?
It's Pete.
Okay, I can't wait to see what he did. But first, let me tell you about Dispo Romeo. Although Dispo in general is a phenomenal company, you can experience Dispo Romeo. They're a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere. Mixed with fresh inventory for Michigan's largest variety of products. They're the first ever cannabis mall of its kind, located conveniently off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. And that location is open late night. It's open until midnight, Monday through Saturday. Every night but Sunday. Can it get any better than that? No way. Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Do you want to win $100,000? How about take your friends to the city that never sleeps? You can do that with the 100K giveaway from Cintron. It's the Drink It and Live It. Purchase a 24-pack of Cintron today at drinkcintron.com/Vegas or go to Meijer to make your purchase there. Man, Cintron. drinkcintron.com/Vegas. Can it get any better than that? Check them out.
Cintron, baby! It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Hey, we're up a little late. I do have a couple Cintrons here. But we do this show at night, so I have to stay awake a little bit. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It is Halloween. It is Victory Tuesday, and the trade deadline ended a few hours ago, and a lot of us are mad. A lot of people in the chat are mad. Who cares? We're moving on. Detroit Lions are 6-2.
Did you know Inspector Gadget was Ferris Bueller, also named Matthew Broderick?
Yeah, I didn't know Matthew Broderick, but I did know it was Inspector Gadget as well.
He's married to what's her name? Sarah Jessica Parker. That's his wife.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. And he was Simba. Was he Simba?
No way.
Yeah,
From Lion King?
Don't ask how.
What
I
a
know
guy!
that.
What a career!
Do you ever see the Lil Dicky rap of Lion King? For another day. Later,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm not.
Later. But let's talk.
Let's do it. Hey, let's go into our power rankings here. I tried to find mine last week. I probably could have watched it back, but in my notes I had it, and I had like the Chiefs on it twice. The Lions were off it, which I had them on it. So I had my I don't know what I had last week, so I just made a new one.
Okay.
So I'll let you start here. Number 10. Who's
Number
your
10 for I have. This is a team that just missed the cut last week for me, but they moved up after beating the Browns 24-20. That's the Seattle Seahawks, sitting at 5-2. They get my number 10 spot. I just like what they're doing. They beat the Lions. That's a big win. I have the Lions up on my list, so hey, good for the Seahawks. They're taking care of business. And I'll preface this. I factored in some of these trades into this power rankings today. So I'll try to explain. Like I like the moves the Seahawks did for them. I don't want Frank Clark in Detroit, but decent moves for them. So
okay,
I'll preface that when I remember the teams that I did that. So Seattle Seahawks number 10. Who you got?
I am going to go. Oh man, this is a tough one. You know what, Broder?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this audible. I'm gonna roll with you.
Of course you are.
I'm gonna go the Seahawks at 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna move my list up a little bit. I'm gonna pull the Seahawks down. This
Like
is
down,
where I don't
like
remember where I had them
lower?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember where I had them last week, but right now I'm looking at it. I'm like, I might have had them a little bit too high. Right. So I'm gonna go the Seahawks number 10 as well. I'm with you. They did make a move there, but something about the Seahawks. The Browns is a good win, but there's just something about them to where I know they beat the Lions. There's just something missing. I don't know what it is.
10's a good spot then.
It is. Yeah. I'm gonna go 10.
What about number 9?
Number 9 for me is a team. I challenged them last week, Broder. My team, the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh.
They went and got a win. Josh Allen looked like Josh Allen this week. He looked like Josh Allen. So did they play Thursday night, didn't they? I believe they played Thursday night football.
I can't even remember. They just keep billing.
I think that's why we can't remember, is because I'm pretty sure that Josh Allen and them, they beat the Bucs 24-18. Josh Allen, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he did throw an interception.
I moved him out of my top 10.
Really? After a win?
Yeah. I think other teams did things to jump up.
I challenged them and I moved them in.
I think the loss, whoever they lost to the week before, I don't believe in them. They are talented. They're probably a top 4 talented team, but they don't get the benefit of the doubt for me. I got the Cincinnati Bengals jumping into the top 10 for me for my first time this season, moving to number 9. They just beat the 49ers 31-17. I know this is 3 in a row for the 49ers, but the Bengals are starting to look like the Bengals that we thought they were going to be before the season. Healthy Joe Burrow, healthy Joe Burr. They're looking pretty good. If they put it all together, they're as good as any team in the NFL. I don't know if they're going to do that. That offensive line's a little questionable still, but Bengals are my number 9 team. Then at number 8, who I moved up from number 9. I moved up a spot, the Dallas Cowboys. At 5-2, they dominated the Rams. I moved them up from number 9 to number 8 and got them there at in the number 8 spot. What about you?
Number 8, I had where you had at 9, Cincinnati Bengals.
Nice.
They're moving a little bit. I put them in. I want to make it known. I put them in my power rankings. I think when they became 3-3.
You did.
And I was like, I'm throwing them in there. A lot of people had them out. It's something when Joe Burrow gets going. Once this team, I think everyone knew what this Bengals team was about. It was just they needed it. That switch needed to be flipped, and it did. And this team is scary. They're going to be scary in the AFC, I think. That was my 8. Who did I have? Number 7. Who's your number 7?
My number 7 is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow.
Where'd I have them? I moved them up a couple spots this week. They're playing really well. Who'd they beat? They beat the Steelers 20-10. An ugly victory, but a victory nonetheless. They're starting to put it together, and I'm just super impressed with. It was the 3 wins they ran off in a row, 2 in London, and then they came and beat the Saints on Thursday night. It was like 3 wins in 17 or 18 days while being in London for 2 weeks. It was a crazy stretch. Trevor Lawrence is playing well. They haven't even really got Calvin Ridley involved in that offense. They got uber potential.
They do.
Number 7, that's my Jacksonville Jaguars.
My 7. San Francisco 49ers.
Wow.
Dropped them.
Wow, okay.
It's tough to put a team in the top 5 right there if you lose 3 straight games. Like a good team, I've talked about it all the time. The Lions, they've lost 2 games, haven't lost back-to-back games. They lose, they find a way to bounce back. Whether it's a schedule or not, you find a way to you got to recover. They've lost 3 straight. They lost to Cleveland. They went and lost to Minnesota.
That was the bad one.
And then you lose to the Bengals when you had a bounce-back game. Brock Purdy hasn't looked like Brock Purdy that we've seen. Things just have not been working in their favor. I know they just made the move for Chase Young. I didn't even account for that. But I still think even with Chase Young, the way with the quarterback situation going on, Debo's been out, Trent Williams out. Right now in the NFL, if we're talking about today, I'm putting them at number 7.
Number 7 it is. Who we got number 6?
Number 6, I have the Detroit Lions. I moved them up. I believe last week I actually had them at 8, so I moved them up a couple spots. Put them above the 49ers, which is crazy. Like when I did that, I was like, there's no way this team should be above the 49ers as well as the 49ers have been. But the Detroit Lions right now, they're 6-2, and you're looking at a 49ers team who's 5-3. I'm taking the Lions right now. If you match them up right now, I think it would be in Ford Field. I think it would be a good game. I think you might be able to see a Lions victory, to be honest.
You're better.
And that's crazy to say, but with no Trent Williams, no Debo Smith, or Debo Samuel, Debo Smith. What am I doing?
Devontae, Debo, same thing. Yeah, Debo Smith. So you got Lions at 6. I got the Miami Dolphins at 6. 6-2. They just beat the Patriots. They're got them in the same spot as last week. I had another team jump them that I haven't mentioned yet. So I'm going with the Dolphins. High-powered offense. Jalen Ramsey is a wild card. That defense could be getting better, but they got to prove it to me for a couple weeks before they jump back up there. Hey, Miami Dolphins at 6. Number 5, I got the Detroit Lions. Moving back. I moved them down to 6 last week. Detroit Lions back up 6-2. Just beat the Raiders 26-14. They're doing what it takes to stay alive. They're overcoming adversity. I just think they're a good team. They're number 5. I thought about moving them up higher, but I think they got to prove a little bit more to me. See what they look like coming out of the bye week. But who you got at 5?
I have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nice.
Coming off a loss, I did drop them here, but that's still the Chiefs.
I'm trying to think, like, who have you not named yet? Like, our lists are finally different.
Very different.
Yeah.
I have the Chiefs, though. I don't think you have to drop them, right? I think I might have had them at like 3 or 4 last week anyways.
Yeah.
So coming off a loss to the Broncos, that was such a bad loss. That was so bad.
That loss, who knows? That loss might have hurt the Lions in terms of the Broncos thinking they still got a chance to compete. They're not going to sell off like they maybe had planned before. Who knows how that affected the NFL? The Minnesota win, too, against the 49ers. These wins by these lowly teams.
I'm telling you. You got to win those games.
You do.
Seeding.
Do you see number 5? How about your number 4?
Number 4, who do I have? Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, so you moved them way up.
I moved them way up.
Good for you.
Dude, this is a legit football team. They're starting to, what they've done, Broder, over the last month, I think they have 5 straight wins within a month because they played all of these like random games in London. They have been on a tear. Yes. And it's not like a tear. When you think of like playing back-to-back games in London, you think about traveling the way they did, you're like, all right, this is going to be a tough part of our schedule. We're probably going to drop a couple. No, they went 5-0 in that stretch.
That's insane.
They went, it was crazy. And they beat the Steelers on the road.
Yeah.
I think I picked the Steelers to win because it was Mike Tomlin at home. So Jacksonville, they're my number 4.
Number 4. My number 4 is the San Francisco 49ers, who dropped from the number 3 spot last week, dropping to number 4. This, I did factor in that Chase Young trade. I factored in just the allure of the 49ers. I'm probably giving them a little too much credit after 3 losses.
5-3.
But I just think they're still built really well. I don't think Purdy's going to play this bad. He might not play as well as he did before, but I still have faith in. I still worry about the 49ers. I would rather play them at home at Ford Field than head to San Francisco, but they get my number 4 spot.
Who's your 3?
My number 3. Or should we tease it? Should we come back and finish the top 3?
Yeah, let's do that.
And combine it with Pete Prisco?
Let's do that.
All right, we're going to come back. What do we got? I'm
going to go back to back here. Let me tell you guys about Woodward and Maine, just real quick, just so you guys know. Woodward and Maine show, the Woodward Sports Lions Insider Show, hosted by Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, our own, Ted Lasso right now, and Terry Foster, Detroit legend. That is Tuesdays, 7 to 8 a.m. and Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. for all of your Insider Lions information. Make sure you guys tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube for that. And then, let me tell you guys about, after you tune into that, where you're going to go get some breakfast and go get some food. That is big boy. Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over. Make sure you try the best cheeseburger or the new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. You see it right there? Looks beautiful. If you want a chicken sandwich, try the Dolly chicken sandwich or turn up the heat with Bob's hot chicken sandwich. Upgrade those fries to chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. And if you want dessert, I get dessert. That's why I've got this little, you know what? Indulge in the big boys Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake or satisfy that sweet tooth with the funnel cake fries. That is over at Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Downtown's newest sports bar has 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and most importantly, a full bar and restaurant. You can compete nationwide for a chance to win a trip to the Dominican Republic. You just got to bring a foursome or sign up as an individual to be placed on a team at 5irongolf.com. Use code Woodward10 for 30% off. Again, that is 5irongolf.com.
All right, we are back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys all tuning in and hit that like button if you haven't already. Tell a friend about the stream. Where are we at right now with likes? We're at 109. Let's get to 125 before the end of this segment, and then we're going to get into mailbag. Top 3, Broder.
Top 3.
Start us off with your 3rd.
Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
I know, tough loss. They move out of my number 1 spot. They were my number 1 team last week still. I was hanging hanging tight with them. They moved down to number 3. You can't lose to the Broncos. They still got Patty Mahomes. They still got Travis Kelce.
Wow.
They're going to be fine, but they got to move down. There are 2 other teams that are playing better football than them. Who you got?
All right, I'm going with my number 3. I think they stayed the same actually with the 31-24 win over the Arizona Cardinals. The Baltimore Ravens, 6-2 Baltimore Ravens are my number 3 team in the NFL right now. Elimination, you already know who my top 2 are. I don't know if Broder might not know who I have in my top 2. He's thinking about it right now, Ted Lasso. But I have the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's kind of crazy. I'm going to deflect you because we've usually had the same list.
Yeah.
I do think it's kind of crazy that you have the Chiefs and the 49ers coming off like the 49ers 3 straight losses and the Chiefs losing a bad game to the Broncos. And they're still like...
That was a bad game. That's teams lose bad games.
That's fair. That's a tough bad game.
The Lions lost to the Ravens pretty horribly. The Ravens are much better than the Broncos.
My 3rd team.
Yeah.
But the Ravens lost to the Lions.
Ravens are my 2nd team. They're my number 2 spot.
Okay, I know who your 1 is now, too.
Yeah, do ya? Do ya? I for whatever reason, I lost whatever your number 2 would be. No, I didn't. Little. There was a kid who dressed up as their head coach who went viral.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good costume.
The Miami Dolphins, baby. As Nick would say, fins up. I'm doing the Dolphins at number 2. I do think I've dropped them a couple times. I moved them up a couple times. They're a team that's going to be in that top 5 in the NFL all season long. Jaylen Ramsey with the huge interception coming back. Their offense is just electric.
Yeah.
I think it's the best in the NFL right now. Their offense is so fun to watch. That defense is starting to get to where, that level you want to see. Versus the Patriots, though, that was kind of the fact that they pulled that off. That was a great football game, too. I don't know if you watched it.
I did not.
Couple picks. It was a good football game.
Yeah. Patriots are boring to me.
What is?
Patriots?
Oh, Patriots?
The New England Patriots.
I don't know. I don't hate watching them, especially if it's a Dolphins game. It was good.
Yeah, Dolphins are fun.
And I think both of our number 1s is the same.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles, yeah.
7-1, taking care of business. They look good. They had Byard. A.J. Brown is arguably the best receiver in the NFL. He's not. I think Tyreek Hill is, but he's in that top 3, top 4 discussion. The Eagles are tough. It is what it is.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about the Eagles. That's a good football team. 7-1.
That's a good football team, boys.
I don't know. I want to look at their schedule, and you know what? I kind of got screwed. I had them that bet on for them to win be the last team to lose a game, and I'm pretty sure, technically time-wise, they lost later in the day than the 49ers.
All right, look at that.
The 49ers lost at 1 o'clock or the 1 o'clock slate, and then the Eagles lost later that night, I believe.
Hey,
but I didn't win the bet.
What Pacific?
It was the same week.
Yeah, who knows? Hey, they're both good teams.
I should dispute that.
Hey.
All right, let's look at it here. We have national rankings. We only have one guy. You guys all know him if you watch the show. Pete Prisco.
Petey Pablo.
Mr. Pete Prisco. Let's throw that up there, Jay. Let's see what Pete has to do this week with us.
Freak a leak.
Wow.
Do you remember where...
I do. I have it written down.
All right, so we got Eagles at 1, Ravens at 2, Jaguars at 3, Cowboys at 4, Dolphins at 5, Chiefs at 6, Bills... Wait. What?
These
Bills
are,
at
these are so bad every
There's a
week.
team missing from the top 10. Bills at 7, Bengals at 8, Lions at 9, Seahawks at 10. Where are the 49ers?
Oh, he dropped the 49ers out. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, what the...
Who else did he leave out?
We got the 49ers. The Dolphins are in there.
Cowboys
are in there.
Wait a second. The Cowboys at 4 is just crazy to me.
That's a little outrageous.
That is nuts.
The Bills at 7 is a little crazy.
Are we missing anyone else? The Jags at 3, Cowboys at 4.
No, it's the 49ers.
Do you guys want to know where he had the Detroit Lions last week? Because
Where?
this is a problem. Detroit Lions with the dominant Monday Night Football win, and he moved them down. He had them at 8 last week.
What?
He moved them down to 9. He dropped the Detroit Lions. Can you throw that back up there one more time, Jaylen? My bad.
They were 8 and he moved them down to 9?
See if he... Yeah.
Dude.
He had them at 8 last week.
Could someone spam the bozo emoji in the chat?
He had the Bengals jump them.
Bills
jumped them. He kept the Seahawks were at 10 last week. Browns were at 9, so they fell out.
That's idiotic.
Bengals and Bills both jumped them.
I mean, it's like I don't think this order is horrible, but I don't understand how the 49ers aren't in the top 10. I don't understand how you move the Lions back after a win. I mean, I guess you could. He was probably saying They turned the ball over a lot. Their red zone offense wasn't great. They beat a bad team in an ugly way. But, man, a win's a win. A bruise on the leg's a hell of a long way from the heart.
Yeah, it is
what are they
bad.
thinking?
That is the Bengals Bills, though. Hey, I don't know.
Look at the chat. I didn't even look down.
Just clowns.
Look at them clowns. Thank you.
Hey, shout out to the chat.
Thank you. That's why you never shut down the chat.
They know the chat. The chat knows.
They know.
This man's a clown.
They know.
All right, let's go to break, fellas, and let's come back. Let's do mailbag, finish the show off. We appreciate you guys all sticking with us throughout this 8 to 10 slot at night. I felt like it was a fun show. So let's get mailbag here. Let me tell you guys about Lady Jane's, though. Make sure you guys come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircuts for men for an award-winning haircut experience. Make sure to register to win a trip of your dreams, an all-expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men is open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome is also Les Stanford because they've been running a great business for over 50 years and they've expanded to offer more products and for more people. They opened Les Stanford Buick GMC. That's what they did. They got the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. They're located on Woodward just south of 9 Mile. In Dearborn, also is their flagship location. Check them out. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. How would you like to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live in a couple weeks at Eastern Market in shed number 5. It'll start before the game and it'll go up until game time.
Shout out.
Come pregame it with Woodward Sports. We got food, we got drinks, we got entertainment. You just got to head to bullseyeeventgroup.com to get your tickets. bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Bullseye, baby. All right, we are back, and it is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate you guys all tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's get up over 125 likes. Let's do it for the people. It is Victory Tuesday, so let's hit that. We're going into mailbag though right now. Broder, do you have any questions? Have you seen any questions here?
I have not. Mailbag,
there's a handful, actually. I'm not going to lie. Ask anything. We've got the Detroit Lions beat reporter for Woodward Sports. Trade deadline was today. Ask that man anything you want. You can ask me anything you want as well. I may or may not answer it.
Seriously, how about this? Dr. Clapping Cheeks, mailbag. Do you really think our defense can stand up to the juggernauts in the league? Booner? So up against the Eagles, the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going to say, can I give like a percentage
well, not according to Pete Prisco.
Can I give like a percentage of how I feel? I'm going to say 80. I'm like 80% confident. I think that quarterback, the only thing that right now that's killing me is that defensive end in that quarterback, the mobile quarterback situations. Like that's the only defect I think on this defense right now is, can you stop those quarterbacks? Right now, from what we've seen, no, you can't. But take away that Ravens game, that Seahawks game, your offense could put points up to stay with some of these teams and beat them. So
yeah.
The other side of the ball, the offense, I think they can do that.
Awesome. How about this? Eric Burrow, mailbag. How many more injuries can the Lions sustain before a drop-off? Not many. Not many. This is This is my concern. My biggest concern, not going out and adding pieces in the trade market, was that if Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs, if one of those guys go down, what do you do? If Aiden Hutchinson has to miss a couple games, what do you do there?
That's the big one.
Yeah, like if
that's the big one.
Knock on wood, if Penei Sewell, like there's been offensive lineman injuries, but fortunately Penei Sewell and Graham Glasgow are versatile enough to be able to fill in. So I don't know how many more injuries can they sustain. Not many.
The Hutch one, that one is the one that scares me. Because we've already talked about the defensive line a ton, and if your number one guy goes down, what do you do after that?
Yeah. Lorena Rios mailbag. Did you see Justin dressed as the Black Mark Davis yesterday on BDE? He was hilarious. Did you guys see that? Dude, it was so awesome. Funny.
That was hilarious.
I don't know how to search. Go to our YouTube page. I'm sure there's a clip of it. Check out our social media.
One of the best segments I've seen. I watched it twice back.
And he just showed up. He's a stand-up comedian, but like he just showed up and he's getting roast or something, and all of a sudden he's
that's what
on the show. Wild. It was a great haircut that he gave himself too.
Tyler Chavez. Mailbag. What do you see our final team record at the end of the season as, and which teams hand us the losses? Let me pull up the schedule here real quick. I'm gonna say, what was my record prediction before the season?
Did you go
13-4?
Yeah, I went 12-5.
I'm gonna say 13-4. I'm gonna say the losses that you could find here. I'm gonna give out three teams. I'm gonna give out the Cowboys, Chargers, or the Saints, and I think that's because they're all road games. You're on the road, and I don't think you lose all of them, but I think you're going to drop one of those three, and that gets you your third loss there, and then the fourth one, I don't know where that comes from.
See, I have a really hard time seeing them go anything less than 8-1. Like that is a stretch. That's a stretch of football if you could go 8-1, but like
14 wins, man.
I know that's why.
Crazy.
In deep down, I don't think it's gonna but I think that's just because 14 wins seems like a lot. But if you look at the schedule, as long as you don't have a big injury, like man, they're better than all the teams on the schedule for the rest of the year.
It is wild.
Like it's hard for me to get past that.
It's just those road games that scare me. Like the Ravens road game.
Yeah,
that was a tough. And I know it's still road. When you go on the road, it's
how about this?
A bit different.
Are you more worried about playing the Bears at Soldier or in Chicago or the Saints indoors? Saints are definitely a better team.
Saints indoors.
You're more worried about them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saints is a tough place to play. Like that's very well known. I want to look up something here too real quick because I thought I saw a stat, and if anyone in the comment section kind of saw this, I'm pretty sure the Dallas Cowboys have won like 14 straight games at home.
Who did?
The Dallas Cowboys.
That's
regular season games maybe. But I saw that they're on like a crazy like win streak at home right now. And that's where I'm like, okay, that's like a game where it makes me a little bit nervous. You struggled last year versus them.
Did they lose to the Cardinals in Arizona?
Who?
The Cowboys.
They did, yes.
Gotcha.
That was in Arizona. Yep.
Gotcha. Mailbag, can Lions win multiple playoff games with this defense and defensive coordinator? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I expect them. I'm planning for them to make it to the NFC Championship game. Is that 2 or 3 wins to get there? I don't know. I think the strategy needs to be to get that number 1 seed at all costs. Host the entire playoffs until the Super Bowl. Have everyone come through Ford Field. That's what they need to do. Not going after a new player or a new a game changer on defense. Those games need to be at Ford Field to take that advantage back.
Yeah, the 1 seed, man. Like you said, you're going to go 8-1, the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Slayer here. Will the Lions getting back 5 starters at the bye week count as trade deadline moves? Asking for sad folks in the fan base. That is something that these guys, like you have 13 days until the next game, something like that. That's a huge advantage.
Yes.
Remember the injury report went from this, can't even fit it on the screen fully, to this, and then when you come back from the bye week, it's going to be like maybe this, maybe 1 or 2 people.
It's like Donovan Peoples-Jones, big ass hands. He's got huge hands.
Does he?
Yeah.
Did you go to school with him?
Hell no.
He graduated in 2020.
Different time. Oh, wow. Yeah. I forgot you played
2017 to 2020.
You played with Derek Jeter.
DPJ. Jeez.
Forgot about that. What else do we have here? Mailbag.
Mailbag.
There's a lot here.
Who had the best play of this entire football week? For me, it was A.J. Brown's one-handed catch. Much love, boys. All the away fan. That Eagles game didn't get a lot of love, but they handed it to, I forget who they won, 38-31. But that A.J. Brown catch was nice. I'm trying to think. I don't know, the female fan in the front row of Ford Field who lifted Jahmyr Gibbs up, that's got to be near the top 10, maybe top 5.
Lifted him up. I believe she also straddled him as well too.
Straddled
if you
is
see
a crazy.
Oh, taking
one
that
of the
picture?
legs, wrapped around him.
Oh,
yeah.
I did. Yeah, I did put the picture in Slack there. I think it was the picture with her like.
If her husband was right next to her, if he's cool with it.
They interviewed him after, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it seemed like very nice people.
Yeah, look at there's that picture of them.
Oh, look how happy they are. But she literally just like lifted him up. He jumped, but she kept that baby going.
Yeah, they did a video with her after. You know how they've been doing the player reaction videos after in the tunnel?
Yes.
They did one with them. They went over there and got that video. That was pretty sweet.
She also probably slid him her phone number too.
Maybe. I would if I were her.
Nobody said you guys still rolling with Brad Holmes. The heavies were shooketh. We are
baby.
rolling with Brad Holmes. Yes, we would agree. Should have made a move. Very well known. Should have gotten a defensive end. Nobody. 100%. That is a mistake. But just like in the draft when Brad Holmes traded the Jaylen Carter pick and got Jahmyr Gibbs, who just gave you 180 yards, and Sam Laporta, who's a top 5 tight end in the NFL, trust in that man. He knows what he's doing. He didn't make a move for a reason, whether it was because he didn't trust the guys he was getting or he didn't want to give up what he had. Lions can still go win a Super Bowl this year. That is not off the table.
IBWT. In Brad we trust.
In Brad we trust.
Let's go.
BNL.
Let's go.
New Lions. Hey, appreciate you guys all tuning in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button before you leave. We're going to be back tomorrow, 8 to 10, talking a little bit more Lions. We're going to probably talk some Red Wings tomorrow as well. Pistons, I believe they play tomorrow as well. But make sure you guys have a good rest of your Halloween. 2 more hours left of it. Be safe.
Be safe.
Make sure you guys are safe. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow, 8 to 10 p.m.
Eat lots of candy. Toodles.
Love you guys.
Spooky season, you guys.
What is it?